So Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to our first Eastside Wrap meeting of 2024. It's great to see you all. Um, as I mentioned, we do record these meetings and post them on YouTube after each one for anybody who couldn't join us today. So you can always find those through SBAct's YouTube channel. Since we have quite a few folks on the call, I'd love if people would introduce themselves in the chat window. Just say your name and what organization you're with, just so we know who all is here. And I'm going to start us with a couple of general announcements. First and foremost being the point in time count. So this is our annual count of everyone experiencing homelessness throughout Santa Barbara County. We need hundreds of volunteers. And so at this point, we're still looking for quite a few volunteers. So we would love any of you to sign up. We would love for any of you to share the flyer, spread the word, share the social media posts that are on SBAct's page and the County of Santa Barbara's page and the City of Santa Barbara's page, and they're all over the place. So please help us to get the word out. It's really important that we get an accurate count so that we can get the needed support from both state and federal levels. Jet, do you want to say anything else about this?
Yeah, our volunteer recruitment well, not recruitment, our volunteer signups has just been really slow this year for some reason. Usually about this time we're upwards of 300 people, and right now we're only at about 200. So it's really important that we get enough people out there. We do the full geographic coverage. So we're covering everywhere from Cuyama to the coast, with the exception of the Channel Islands. And so if you know anybody who is willing to sign up and join us, it's actually quite a rewarding experience. So please spread the word, like Landon said, as much as you can. And we've been in touch with the shelters, but we do have opportunities for people with lived experience of homelessness as well. And so if you have anyone, maybe a short list of people who you would feel comfortable leading a group of volunteers, please reach out to Landon and we'll be able to coordinate that as well. We do offer a compensation for people with lived experience who are willing to help.
And I want to second what Jet said. It is actually really rewarding. And I'm not just saying this because I'm helping to run the point in time count. I've had a fun time just meeting community members every time I've done it, getting put in a team with people. So yeah, it's worth your while.
Are you able to provide us with a report of because I've been pushing it out to our teams and requesting everybody sign up to support, but I have no way of knowing, unless they tell me just signed up, I have no way of knowing which of our team members have signed up. Is there any way you can let us know so we can go have one-on-one conversations with folks to ask them about signing up?
If they completed the sign up using their ePath email, then those would be easy to flag and I could see that. But otherwise, it doesn't really ask their affiliation. There would have to be, some marker where it's oh, we signed up for the PATH team or something. So I could do a search for people who signed up with the epath.com or .org, whatever it is, email address and send that list to you.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the easiest way. That wouldn't include everyone if they use a Gmail or something.
Right.
But
it'd be a good start.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you, Liz. Appreciate getting the word to your team. Okay, other exciting news. So we're all familiar with Dignity Moves and their site in downtown Santa Barbara with the cabins. And they are working alongside the county to open several more sites. And La Posada is actually breaking ground today, just after this meeting. And so we just wanted to share that news to say things are moving forward. This will be, I believe, 80 units of transitional housing. So that'll be another 80 people from South County that will be able to transition out of street level homelessness, and then just create more space in our shelters as well. So excited to share that and see where it goes. Again, Jet, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to this as the county representative.
Nothing more than you said. I'm actually about to jump off here right now so I could head over to that groundbreaking. But it's just an absolutely amazing and exciting thing that we're able to do. I don't know if you were able to see on the news about it last night, but the person who was giving the tour gestured to the hill behind him and said the people living back there will be living down here sheltered. And there was actually tents up on the hill of the people who are living unhoused who will be housed by that project. And so it's a really amazing use of what would otherwise be just an unused piece of land.
Thanks, Jet.
Mhm.
And if anybody isn't familiar, so for context, this is over the former juvenile hall site, kind of across Hollister from Java Station, that area up on the hill. Couple upcoming dates to put on your calendars. So again, point in time count on the 24th, 5:30 a.m. It's an early wake up call. Our next Eastside Wrap call meeting will be that Friday, the 26th. And then also that Friday, the 26th, we will have a State Street neighborhood walk. So we invite any of you to join us if you're interested at 3 p.m. in front of the Starbucks on Coda. And then we'll kind of be spreading out and going both directions on State Street. Other exciting things to share, we want to talk about the new daytime navigation center that we're going to be going before City Council to hopefully approve a lease for in the coming weeks. So I'm going to turn to Barbara to share a little bit more.
Hi, everyone. As many of you know, we've been working the last year plus to identify a property within proximity of downtown that would help serve our unhoused population as well as housing insecure population. And we have found that property and a really supportive property owner, which is so great and helpful. He's a local resident and really understands what we're trying to accomplish here. We're proposing a 3-year lease agreement at this space. We think a lot could happen and shift in a 3-year period of time. So I think, again, we really want to build on the success of the neighborhood navigation centers, which have been pop-up events Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday throughout neighborhoods in the city. This will transition the Alameda Park Neighborhood Navigation Center and the Commuter Lot Neighborhood Navigation Center to the physical site downtown. Again, the need for a dignified space, a safe space, a private space to continue case management conversations, I think will be really, really well received. People can find nourishment, basic needs services, charge their phones. We're going to be facilitating workshops and trainings and workforce development opportunities. Folks can get professional clothing donation if they have a job interview and a quick shower and head out, and hopefully that interview is successful. So a lot of things can happen from this space. Also, another advantage is we're taking over the whole property. So the second floor will be office space that will be available and open for service provider partners to sublease. So we would like those partners ideally to be homelessness and behavioral health oriented. But again, if there's a need at all, please reach out and we're happy to facilitate that. So we really want this to be a hub. It's a property that's set back from the street, really, I would say just if you go by, you wouldn't even know it's there, which is something that we love. There's fenced in storage in the back. So even individuals with carts that usually have been resistant to, partake in services, they can park their cart in a safe space while they're inside the building, getting services and be on their way after that. So if mayor and council approves this lease agreement, which is going before them in early February, and we will share the date as well as specifics on the agenda to everyone, hoping for as much supportive comment as we could possibly get for a location that we know is desperately needed. Then we will be inhabiting the space and moving folks in terms of office use, but we also need a conditional use permit. So that goes before Planning Commission. That process is a lot more complicated, and I'm now getting the bruises for it. But again, the team has been super supportive and successful and knows that this is a priority. So 2 occasions we're hoping for advocacy. One is before mayor and council, and one would be before the planning commission to make sure that, it's a space that will be drop in and open to the public. The last thing is we're gonna, if everything's approved, start with kind of a soft launch in terms of hours. So we'll be open for a 4-hour period during, that 5-day-a-week time period. And then just being able to assess the folks that are coming through, what their needs are, our staffing, then we'd be able to expand that to start earlier in the morning. So all of it will be transitioning, and we'll be communicating regularly with all of you as we move that forward. So thank you in advance if you can show up and support. The tentative date right now is February 6th. So we are sharing that to go before council. Again, Daytime Navigation and Workforce Development Center in downtown Santa Barbara.
I put this in the chat, but I just wanted to also verbally just huge shout out for all the hard work going into this, because it's just so needed, and just really very, very excited for this to launch. And we will definitely be any and everywhere we can be to show our support too. So just really looking forward to it, and much gratitude and thanks for all this hard work that's gone into it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Susie, I see your comment in the chat. I'm so grateful for that offer, and we will definitely follow up with you on that.
This is a huge win-win, and a big shout out to Barbara and Liz Stotts for all their work on this. But we do see this as a win-win, because it would both reduce the number of people who are just having to spend time out on the streets during the day, but also would actually streamline people being able to get access to shelter and housing, because they could just go to one place and hopefully be able to move forward much more quickly through that process.
And I want to thank to the Youth Navigation Center for just being a perfect example of a dignified space, drop-in access, for a period during the weekdays, and that you have all the things that we were trying to model, from a shower to clothing to food to a safe space to computers. So Shannon, thanks to you and your team for just setting the beautiful example of what it should be.
Thank you, Barbara. And I just want to take this opportunity to invite whoever wants to come over to see the model and how it's been operating. It is a great space. And so it is a navigation center model drop-in center. So I'll put my email in the chat if anyone wants to visit.
Highly encourage anybody who might be skeptical of this idea to go and visit what the YMCA has over there. Any questions or comments? All right. The only other announcement I wanted to make was with regard to behavioral health. I just wanted to note briefly that so the city of Santa Barbara is part of this broader collaborative throughout South County with both the cities of Goleta and Carpinteria. And we're all working together to try and address some of our top priority homelessness issues, one of which is vehicular homelessness, but another one is behavioral health. And so we're currently in the process of trying to identify 15 of the top kind of high acuity individuals dealing with behavioral health concerns in our community, so that we can really focus some of our energy towards those individuals, because we realize this has just been a growing issue, especially since the pandemic. So we'll have more on that in the coming weeks, but I just wanted to note that that's going to be a big focus in 2024 for all of the service providers and this broader collaborative. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and go to check-ins from our outreach providers. Can we start with Path and Odin?
Gladly, yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Odin, the outreach specialist for Pat Santa Barbara. Welcoming you all to 2024. Here's just a little bit of an update. Path Outreach returned from holiday on the 2nd of this year, and we're continuing to focus on CK Street, making daily contacts with the individuals over there, and continuing our caseload from over the last year. And so far, we've got one successful exit from the Eastside onto the Salvation Army. Now she's got 3 meals a day, a roof over her head, and she's loving it. Currently in contact with Salvation Army's VA team as well, and another client, veteran, recently came into Santa Barbara, trying to help him out as well, work on, just benefit access. And yeah, just currently right now, I'm just doing a lot of client follow-ups here on Cacique Street, and then over towards the beach and the railroad tracks. I've got a few helping out with additional people Coming onboarding, we got a new program director coming on in, housing navigator coming on in, and a new case manager coming on in as well. So I'm just showing them all the hotspots of the east side, showing them where exactly most of our high impacts are, and how to really help out the community as well. I've got 2 more intakes scheduled over by the volleyball courts on East Beach for a couple individuals. And then after that, just kind of, continuing business as usual. But of course, I'm still in contact with PD about any emerging trends about illicit activity on Cacique Street. I actually made an email out to Commander Capsaxis recently about some emerging trends and just want to make sure that everybody's on top of it. What I'm seeing with boots on the ground. And so far, excited to start off the new year right. So if you y'all need any assistance or services, feel free to reach out. I've got my number on SBX card, and I'm free to put my number into the chat as well.
Thank you, Odin.
Thank you.
Exciting to hear about the new staff, and also shout out to all the staff who worked through the holidays at PATH and also sitting at Good Samaritan, all of our outreach providers.
Yeah, I wanted to, our new director of programs is on the call, so I wanted to just take a moment for Herschel to introduce herself and say hi to you all.
Herschel, did you want to say something? Sorry, it looks like you're
Can't hear
unmuted.
you.
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
Yeah, you're good. We can hear you now.
Yeah, it's interesting to be on the space. Thank you for the opportunity, learning as I go, and I've heard about SBX, so it's great to be in the space, and yeah, we'll make relationships as we go along.
Awesome. Welcome, Herschel.
Yeah, thank you.
And then let's go to our CityNet team.
Hello, this is Sarai filling in for Al this morning. So some of our outreach this week was the usual outreach on Cacique. Also Spanish outreach with Odin has resumed after the holidays. And then the last thing I have is one longtime Eastside Montecito unhoused individual was housed last week. So that's a very exciting win for us, for all of us. And I'll be discussing him later, so I can let you guys know his name. And please continue contacting Al for any community concerns. He can reach out to our outreach team so we can get out there in a timely manner. And that's all I have for today.
Great. Thank you, Sarai. I don't see Good Samaritan on the call right now. So I don't know. Commander Katsapis, do you want to share your announcements?
Sure. Thank you, Landon. I think the biggest announcement for us relevant to something you mentioned earlier was that we're also at the police department prioritizing our response to behavioral and mental health issues. This Saturday, we will be transitioning to a 7-day-a-week model for our co-response teams. And for those of you who are not familiar with those teams, that's a clinician from County Be Well partnered with an officer who's crisis intervention trained. And one of their biggest responsibilities is to respond to mental health crises in the field. So we receive a lot of those calls for service. That's been a big benefit to our community. And by expanding from 4 days a week to 7 days a week, we'll be able to provide daily coverage in that capacity. So that's probably our biggest update.
Thanks, Commander Katsapis. That is a really huge update, so we're excited to have that access. And then Joao.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, just been focusing on Cacique Street, offering outreach as well as doing litter pickup of Cacique, the underpasses, and over by the zoo.
And we want to let everyone know that we have a new ordinance to regulate the storage of personal belongings in public spaces. And so it's really important that we keep the public right of way clear. And so any items that you see that have been stored in the public right of way and other public spaces for more than 4 hours, you can send a photo and a report through SB Connect, the new software application. And there's actually a pull down category for personal belongings. And that goes right to Joao and the team, and that they can go out and notice that for another 4 hours. And then, you know, items of value will be impounded and information will be shared and posted about how they can, you know, reunite with those items. So we're going to do have a city team, you know, engaging with folks along Cacique to just let them know that this ordinance is enforceable, and we want them to get the heads up, and we'll give as much discretion and warning as we possibly can, especially if we know the person who's associated with those items, but we really just want to make sure that we're ensuring the safety and sanitary conditions that we need on the public right of way, especially.
Thank you, Barbara.
Sorry, I have a question. Can you repeat who we should contact if we see the items there for the extended time?
Yeah, you can use an application. It's called SB Connect. And so we can send that to the CityNet team. It's super user friendly. We've, I think, worked out most of the kinks. But you can just on your phone download the application and submit a request, take a photo, note the location, and then that report goes directly to the code enforcement team. So we'll share that information on how you can download that application. But it's through iTunes and other areas. SB Connect is the name.
Great, thank you.
I've also posted the link on the
Oh,
chat.
perfect.
Yeah.
And then sort of related to that, and related to what Odin was sharing earlier, we do have these business cards, just a reminder, that have a couple of the key phone numbers to call, including homeless outreach staff who are on this call right now that you'll be able to access. So we have these, and then on the front side, there's a QR code that takes you to the full response directory with other phone numbers and email addresses for different kinds of homelessness related issues. So please let me know if you'd like to get a stack of these, and I'm happy to make sure you get them. Yeah, Liz, do you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I was just wondering if it would be possible to get like a flyer for these meetings. We'd love to go like to, as we're continuing to like build our relationships in the neighborhood with the businesses, like we'd love to have a flyer that we could go to the businesses to encourage them, invite them to join these conversations more often.
Yeah, we have a flyer. I can email it to you, and if you'd like, I can bring you print copies too.
Perfect, thank you.
And we'll go ahead and open it up for community questions as well. Looks like Natalia has her hand raised.
Yes, I do. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I have, thank you. I have two questions here. I guess one should be directed to CityNet and the other one to Joao. Has anybody, or how often is CityNet going out to De La Guerra Street? There's a lot of people living there in their cars, and a lot of trash is being thrown on that street. So, and every time I'm on that street, it seems like it's just an increase of people living on it, and more trash is accumulating there.
Yes, I have my crew going out on Wednesdays doing litter pickup, but as for people living in their vehicles, that is not against, any city ordinance or any law. I don't
But
know. Yeah, go ahead.
sorry. Oh, sorry for the interruption. Right. But the trash that is being dispersed from those cars is a
Yes,
problem.
I will take a look, and if I have to increase to 2 times a week for my crew to be out there, I'll schedule that.
Okay, so currently it's just only Wednesdays for the east side or for that particular street?
Just for that particular street. Do you have an address? I could go take a look.
No, I don't. I can get it to you. I'm currently not there in the city today, but I can most certainly get an address for you, Joe. It's right, is that the high school? I always get
Around the
confused.
high school, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, we're aware of that area, and I'm gonna increase. We discussed it earlier this week. I'm gonna increase the litter pickup there.
great. Thank you so very much, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I just want to let everyone know too that Liz and I are working with the county to submit an application for encampment resolution funding specifically for vehicular homelessness. We're really hoping that our grant application is competitive, and that we would have a lot more boots on the ground, rapid rehousing resources, and other support for people living in their vehicles. And the vehicles along De La Guerra, Dwight Murphy, there's a number of vehicles along Cassique, Alameda Park, Hope Avenue. These are all areas that have been captured and mapped as part of that application. So deadline is the end of January, notifications the end of March. We're hoping that we can have additional resources for support here too.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Barbara. Thank you.
Any other questions from the community?
I just wanted to chime in and thank Joe and Al's team for the cleanup that occurs. That definitely does help. So thank you for that. There is an individual I know, Odin, I think you've been working with her, that lives in a brown van. I'm not sure if she got towed away yesterday or something. I saw a couple cops in front of our building that her van disappeared, but there's definitely some suspicious activity with that vehicle. So I just bring that to your attention to make sure that everybody's aware.
Yeah, thank you, Susie. And I think the more we can keep reporting on SB Connect, this is for everybody. I know you're already on that, Susie, but that's helpful for our outreach teams as well as the safe parking team who are not here on the call today. Go ahead, Liz.
Thank you. So I just wanted to tag on to what Barbara was saying about the grant that we're applying with the county. One of the great things about that grant proposal is the state has been really flexible about what we can apply for. So we will be applying for housing dollars as part of that. So it's more than just street outreach and engagement. It actually comes with housing dollars, which is something that usually lacks with these types of grants. So that's the exciting part of that proposal. So we really hope we are able to secure this grant.
Thank you, Liz. Other questions or comments from the community? Actually, I want to bring something up. I had an Eastside resident send an email to me inquiring about the property on Milpas and Mason. This is the one I think we talked about a couple times last year where there's individuals that were sleeping on the porch. So I don't know if that's a question for Commander Katsapis or Sitting At. I know both of you at one point had been communicating with those individuals there.
Yeah, I think the issue with that property is that for us to enforce trespass or a few other potentially relevant crimes, it would require the owner's cooperation. I don't think we've had that yet. So that's probably the hangup. Without that, we can't enforce certain penal codes that would be applicable. And so I know that code enforcement was also working to try to make contact with that owner to resolve that issue. So that's the hang up the last time I checked.
Yeah, thank you. And kind of related to that, this Eastside resident also brought up sort of near the corner of Milpas and Haley, that there was a business owner that had identified people defecating on their patio and stealing plants in pots. I don't know if they actually saw who the individual was. I don't know if it's related to homelessness at all, but is that something I should direct them to you, Commander Katsapis?
Yeah, for sure. I did see a recent bulletin email about plant theft in that general area. May be related, may not be, but both of those would be crimes that the police department would look into. So you can direct them to the San Bar Police Department for further follow up on that.
Will do. Thank you. Other questions or comments from the community before we end this portion of the meeting? All right. Well, we'll go ahead and end the meeting for our community members, and our service providers will stay on to talk about individuals by name. So thank you to everybody for being here, and Happy New Year.